What's poppin'? My name is Duckhead, and today I'll discuss the current state of gen regression in Dead by Daylight. Now, I've just now gotten back into this game after about a 6 or so month period of not playing this game like at all, right? Pretty much never playing it and not playing it on a consistent basis. Now I'm starting to get back into it, and now that I've gotten back into it, I've observed the state of gen regression in this game. And I'm gonna say this here and now, bro. Gen regression is too fucking weak in Dead by Daylight. And let me contextualize that statement. Let me explain what I mean by that. So when you think of the strongest perks in Dead by Daylight for gen regression, you're usually gonna think of your Pop Goes the Weasel, your Scorched Pain Resonance, and your Ruin. So Pop Goes the Weasel, of course, as we know, after you hook a Survivor, you have the ability to kick a gen for 20% right now of its current progress. Scorched Pain Resonance gives you 4 uses of a Scorched Hook, and when you hook a Survivor on those Scorched Hooks, it hits the gen with that's the most progressed for 20% of total progress. And in Ruin, it regresses the generator by 100% when a Survivor's not working on it, but it only does that if the Hex perk for the Ruin is up, right? And I know what some of you are probably thinking. You're probably like, well, Duckhead, what the fuck? We literally had this happen in 2022. Let's contextualize what happened in 2022. So if you don't know, in 2022, Pop Goes the Weasel was 20%, right? They buffed it up to 30%, then they buffed it, they nerfed it back down to 20%. But it used to be 20% when they nerfed it from its original state of 25% of total gen regression. And at that time, it was 20% of current gen regression. And on top of that, they nerfed Ruin to where if you killed one survivor, the Hex perk would disappear, even if no one cleansed it. And it would be 125% of the gen that would be regressed, right? 125% over time if the survivor's not repairing it. Now, but the thing about that is when they nerfed those two perks, Pop Goes Weasel and Ruin, we had the advent of the gen kick meta. And that was your Eruption, your Call of Brine, your Overcharge. And while Eruption was fucking broken, they did need to fucking nerf it. That did fill the void that was left from those gen regression perks like Pop Goes Weasel and Ruin being nerfed. But however, now every single gen regression perk is nerfed. Every single gen regression perk is at its weakest form. And that is a problem because that adversely affects the lower tier killers. Adversely. And this is a whole entire other video, but the discrepancy between high tier killers and low tier killers, I think is the worst it's ever been in this fucking game's history, in my opinion. And let me explain what I mean by that. The high tier killers seemingly are the only killers that can make use out of the current gen regression that we have. So with Scorched Pain Resonance, you know, your high mobility killers, which usually are your high tier killers, like, you know, your hillbillies, your spirits. I've heard Dracula's put in the same light, but, you know, I'll have to visit him because I haven't really played with Dracula to know that. But people put Dracula in the same light. Your blights, your nurses. Those killers are the killers that can make use of, even though the gen regression is weaker, they can still make use of those perks and it can still be good on them because they have the mobility to go and contest those gens that are being regressed if they're not beside them, right? They have the mobility to spread pressure around those gens so that the survivors can stay off of it and let the gen regression do its job. Gen regression being so weak right now adversely affects the lower tier killers because your killers like your trappers, your clown, right? You know, other low tier killers, maybe Legion. Those lower tier killers can't make use out of the gen regression that we have because it's so weak that it doesn't even matter if they fucking use it. By the time you hit that Scorched generator for 20%, if it's all the way across the map, by the time you get over there, if you have even one survivor working on the shit, they probably just negated that 20% you just hit it for, right? If you have Pop Goes the Weasel, you have to run your ass all the way over there and hope that the generator is progressed enough to where you're going to get an effect on that Pop Goes the Weasel. And with Ruin, man, shit, dude, the fucking I wouldn't advise using that shit on a lower tier killer because, I mean, you have to pressure generators and kind of stick around them for the Ruin to work. And with Ruin being as weak as it is right now, you don't even need to cleanse that shit. It's so trash, you don't need to cleanse it. 100% is fucking nothing. All right? So, with that being said, what can we do? What can they do to make this situation better, because right now it's just such a high discrepancy, and this is an entire of the video topic, but it's such a high discrepancy between the low tier kills and the high tier kills because Gen-Regression is so weak right now. So what I would like for them to do, I suggested something like this in the past, make tiered Gen-Regression, right? So on someone like Trapper, your Pop Goes Weasel will be 30% of current progress. Your Scorch Pain Resonance be like fucking, I don't know, 35% of total progress. Your Ruin will be 200% like it used to be. Or was it 400? I forget. I think it was 200%, right? That's how strong it will be on Trapper. Maybe for a mid-tier killer like Demogorgon, maybe your regression, maybe you're 25% Pop Goes Weasel, right? Maybe you're 25% Scorch Pain Resonance, or maybe you're 150% Ruin. For your nurses, yeah, have your weaker Gen-Regression attached to Nurse, like for kills like Nurse, and I just plucked a few kills off the top of my head across the tier list. Make it tiered to where even though you have a weak form of Gen-Regression in the game for the higher tier killers, the lower tier killers, which really fucking need it, they will have more of a use for the Gen-Regression because it's stronger for them. That's what I suggest, right? Or you can just buff the shit back up to what it was, in my opinion, all right? If you don't want to do tiered shit, make Scorch Pain Resonance go back up to 25%. You can only use the shit 4 times. Why is it 20%? That doesn't make any kind of sense to me. 20% for Pop Goes Weasel? Absolutely fucking useless. Put that shit back up to 30%, bro. There was nothing wrong with a 30% Pop Goes Weasel. I don't understand where people got this notion that Pop Goes Weasel and Scorch Pain Resonance were fucking broken. I have no idea where people got that notion, all right? And, you know, I didn't touch on things like Deadlock and, you know, Corrupted Event. I didn't touch on things like that. I'm just talking about things that regress generators. I think that's entirely too weak. But anyway, let me know what you think about Gen-Regression in the comment section down below. I do think it's entirely too weak, bro. They need to do something about it because, goodness gracious, it's just a large discrepancy, such a large discrepancy between high tier killers and low tier killers now, and I have to make a video on that topic as well. That's a whole other topic. Anyway, I'm out this bitch. More content on the way. I'm going to be more consistent again. I'm going to do more of these discussion videos. I'm going to be talking about patch notes and things of that nature. I'm getting back into the shit. Anyway, I'm out this bitch. Y'all have a good one. Bye. Going.